and Michael were outside hanging on the beach. I went inside to look for a volleyball because the landlord said there were a bunch of sports equipment in one of the upstairs closets. There was only one closet upstairs though, so I checked it, and inside of it were things like badminton rackets, baseball gloves, frisbees, and a volleyball, exactly where the woman had described. When I shut the closet door, however, I realized the door to my bedroom was open. I had 100% closed it not even 15 minutes before. I went outside to ask my friends which of them went in my room. I didn't make a big deal about it, but I had to ask because I found that to be a little annoying. They all claimed they didn't go in my room, so I moved past it. I wasn't going to let it bother me too much. When the sun went down, we all got dressed to go to nearby clubs, which were supposed to be crowded due to spring break. I split off a bunch of times to get drinks from the bartender that I found cute, thinking somehow I'd have a chance with her. Of course, I was just acting like a drunk idiot. I guess I'd been mixing my drinks a little too much, because at some point I started feeling really sick. The house was walking distance from the club I was in, so I decided I'd walk to the house and see the rest of them tomorrow. When I got back to the front door, I put the key in the mailbox, as I told my friends I'd do if I left early. I made sure to lock the door behind me, and if any of my friends would come back, I'd assume they'd remember what I said. I went straight to the bathroom upstairs, where I sat by the toilet waiting to puke. My head was spinning, but I just couldn't sum up the urge to finally puke. As I was sitting on the bathroom floor, I heard something outside, like something being dropped on the floor in one of the nearby bedrooms. I stood up and peeked outside. I stepped into the center hallway and noticed that the door to the room that Todd had claimed was cracked open. There was a small nightlight on in there, and as I walked closer to the door, I noticed someone sitting on the bed. They were just sitting on the edge of the bed facing a wall. Was it Todd? I honestly couldn't tell at that point. I was only peeking through a tiny crack in the door. It really didn't look like Todd though, and how would he have gotten in before me without the key? In a split second, my heart started racing twice as fast as I was looking at someone who I started to believe wasn't Todd. I started backing away slowly, and of course, there was the slightest crack in the wood floor. The person sitting on the bed clicked their head to the left to face the door, and even through that tiny crack, I felt as if he was looking at me. It wasn't Todd. It was some random man who looked to be about 40. I ran to the bathroom and locked the door, not trying to be quiet anymore. I tried calling my friend Todd, and as it was ringing, I saw the doorknob to the bathroom door pressed down slightly. The man on the other end was trying to open the door, but of course I locked it. I heard footsteps walking away until they faded away completely. Todd didn't pick up the phone, so I called the landlord. She didn't pick up either, so I finally called 911. I asked them to send a police officer because there was someone who wasn't supposed to be in the house. A police car came to the house within a few minutes, and I ran to the front door to answer it, asking the officer to look around the house with me. It wasn't a huge house overall. The first floor was a quick search, under the couches, in the closets, in the cabinets. Then we went upstairs, checking all the bedrooms, under the beds, and those closets. It seemed clear. He made me fill out some report form, and he was on his way. I still locked myself in the bathroom until my friends rang the bell. With all of them back, I finally felt safe, and when I told them what happened, they were all in shock. The next day, I called the landlord and told her, and she sounded very distraught after I described the man. She sounded confident that her crazy ex-boyfriend had somehow broken into the house and was expecting to find her there. It turned out the room Todd had claimed used to be the bedroom she and her ex would share. She offered to refund me and let us go home if we didn't feel safe. Surprisingly, we agreed to stay the full week though, and actually nothing happened for the rest of the week. I feel like maybe the man figured that she had moved out, but I do wonder how things would have played out if she was home. My friends and I were on spring break in Miami. Late at night after hitting the clubs, we were walking back to the hotel. I guess we left super late because I don't remember seeing any people walking around anywhere besides the three of us. Then, a black car with tinted windows and blasting music came driving down the street. It slowed down when it came closer to us, and when we passed it, it stopped on the side of the road. I told my friends, don't look back, just keep walking. We came to an alleyway that we could cut across to get to our hotel, so we took it. As the three of us were halfway down the alleyway, we literally saw shadows of people behind us on the ground, exposed by an overhead alleyway light. We turned, and there were three guys walking behind us. I whispered at my friends to pick up the pace. We all knew it without saying it, that those guys were most likely the ones in that black car. My two friends were wearing heels, so trying to run wouldn't exactly work. One of the guys called out to us to stop. That only made us go even faster. The next thing we knew, one of them was grabbing my shoulder and forcing me to stop. My friend Gina screamed so loud it could probably be heard for a mile. I screamed in a panic too, as I hit the guy with my bag repeatedly. A couple other guys came in response to the commotion from the opposite end of the alleyway, and told the three guys to back off. The three seemed to realize the fight wasn't worth it and walked away. I'd never been so happy to be white-knighted in my life. The two guys who saved us tried escorting us back to our hotel, but we were close enough now, and we wanted nothing to do with guys we didn't know at that point. We made it safely back and went home the next morning. For spring break, I went somewhere most college students don't go for that oh-so-coveted week of the year. I went snowboarding in Colorado. My friend Kevin has a house there, so I took a flight with him and we took an Uber to his house. It was a lot of uphill driving through the snowy mountains of Colorado that I honestly can't even name. Kevin's family is loaded, so they have houses in multiple states. We pulled up to a huge property. Snow was covering everything, so I couldn't see anything but his house, really. We didn't plan on snowboarding that day, as the sun was already going down, and we had 2 long days ahead of us anyway. Kevin had to unlock everything in the house. It had been a month since he had come last. Kevin made a couple frozen pizzas that were left in the freezer, and we ate those for dinner. The rest of the night, we just drank and played video games. The house had a beautiful main floor that sat with the ground level outside. Kevin didn't keep any of the blinds shut because he said the closest neighbor was about half a mile away. It was definitely a pretty private property. That's why when we both heard a thump at the window, it was that much more bone-chilling. Both our heads jolted to the window like an animal that just heard a predator approaching. We paused the game and walked over to the window that thump just came from. Of course, we couldn't see anything outside because it was pitch black and snowing outside. But we did, however, see a distinct handprint on the glass.